If you've been following Soil Sage Chronicles, you already know I love turning everyday waste into rich, living soil. But there's one trick that still surprises many gardeners when I talk about it: urine-soaked cardboard. Yes, you read that right. Those flattened boxes sitting in your garage, combined with a bit of human liquid gold, can become a powerful composting ingredient and a secret weapon for healthy garden beds. But here's the question every curious gardener eventually asks. How long does it actually take for urine-soaked cardboard to break down and transform into usable garden gold? Today, we're going to dig deep, literally. I'll walk you through the breakdown timeline, why this combination works so well, and how to speed up the process so your garden reaps the benefits faster. Before we talk about timing, let's get clear on why this duo is such a composting powerhouse. Cardboard is essentially carbon, the brown in the composting world. It's fibrous, dry, and provides structure. But on its own, cardboard breaks down slowly because it lacks nitrogen, the key element microbes need to thrive. Urine, on the other hand, is packed with nitrogen, plus a mix of minerals like potassium and phosphorus. To soil microbes, urine is like an espresso shot. It kicks decomposition into high gear. When you soak cardboard with urine, you're giving microbes a balanced carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, which speeds up their activity. The cardboard softens, microbes feast, and decomposition happens much faster than if you just toss that cardboard in the compost pile dry. I first tried this trick years ago while sheet mulching a new raised bed. Honestly, I was pretty skeptical, but within a couple of months, that soggy stack of boxes had turned into dark, crumbly material absolutely teeming with earthworms. And the plants I put in that bed, they exploded with growth. So, how long does it take? Well, the honest answer is, it depends on the conditions. But here's a realistic timeline based on my own experience and what a lot of gardeners report. Weeks 1 to 2. The softening phase. Once soaked with urine and laid down, cardboard begins to soften pretty quickly. Within just a few days, the structure weakens as moisture and nitrogen invite bacteria and fungi to move in. If temperatures are warm and the cardboard is in contact with moist soil, you might even see fungal threads or early worm activity by the end of week 2. Weeks 3 to 6, active decomposition. This is where the magic really happens. Microbes are working overtime and earthworms begin tunneling through those softened layers, shredding them into finer particles. You'll notice the cardboard turning darker and thinner, and sometimes it even develops a rich, earthy smell. In a warm, moist, well-aerated environment, most standard corrugated cardboard is about 60 to 70% broken down within 4 to 6 weeks. Thicker boxes or wax-coated cardboard take longer, so always avoid glossy or plastic-coated material. Months 2 to 3, and we're really starting to see the transformation to what I like to call garden gold. By this stage, the cardboard has largely lost its recognizable shape. What you'll find now is a mix of decomposed fibers, worm castings, and humus. This is what I lovingly call garden gold. Dark, spongy organic matter that improves soil structure, retains moisture, and feeds your plants naturally. For most gardeners, urine-soaked cardboard is fully broken down and garden-ready in about 8 to 12 weeks, depending on weather, soil contact, and how actively you manage the decomposition process. If you're like me, you probably don't want to wait any longer than necessary for those boxes to work their magic. Fortunately, there are several ways to accelerate the breakdown timeline. 1. Shred or tear the cardboard. Whole boxes take longer to break down simply because microbes and worms have less surface area to work on. Shredding or tearing into hand-sized pieces makes a massive difference. Even scoring the surface with a garden knife helps. Okay, step 2. Soak thoroughly. A quick sprinkle just isn't enough here. You really want that cardboard fully saturated with urine, or, a diluted mix if you prefer. If it's too dry, the decomposition process just stalls out. Some gardeners even layer soaked cardboard and compost together for like a turbo boost. All right, step 3, bury or mulch over it. Cardboard breaks down way faster when it's in contact with moist soil and protected from the sun and wind. Laying it under mulch, leaves, or compost keeps the conditions nice and damp and super friendly for microbes. And 4, maintain moisture and air. Honestly, think of decomposition like a slow, simmering stew. If it gets too dry, everything just stops. But if it's too soggy without any air, it turns all slimy. So aim for moist, like a wrung-out sponge, and, if you need to, poke a few small holes to let air circulate. Alright, so, step 5, add worms or compost. If you have vermicompost or a healthy compost pile, just sprinkle some over your cardboard layer. Worms and microbe colonies act like accelerators, shaving weeks off the process. I'll never forget the first time I lifted a mulch layer after using this method. Instead of crusty cardboard, I found a thriving ecosystem. Red wigglers, dark crumbly humus, and even mushroom mycelium spreading through the bed. The soil beneath was noticeably looser and richer, and water retention improved dramatically. The vegetables I planted there, particularly leafy greens, responded with lush growth, needing fewer fertilizers because the soil itself was alive and nutrient-dense. Over the years, I've repeated this process in multiple garden zones. In hot summer conditions with regular watering, I've seen complete decomposition in as little as 6 weeks. In cooler seasons, it can stretch closer to 12 weeks. Either way, the results are consistently worth the wait. While urine-soaked cardboard is simple, there are a few pitfalls to steer clear of. Using coated or printed cardboard, plastic films, wax, or glossy ink slows decomposition and can introduce unwanted chemicals. Stick to plain brown cardboard. Letting it dry out is another one. Dry cardboard becomes a barrier rather than a composting ingredient, so keep it moist. Stacking too thickly can also be a problem. A huge pile without airflow can create anaerobic pockets. 2 to 3 layers is plenty. And don't forget about seasonal timing. Decomposition slows in cold weather, so plan ahead if you want finished compost by spring. The beauty of this technique is that it's free, sustainable, and ridiculously effective. You're diverting cardboard from the landfill, recycling your own nutrients, and building soil fertility, all without buying expensive compost. Urine provides the nitrogen boost. Cardboard supplies the carbon. Worms and microbes do the heavy lifting. And you, the gardener, get to enjoy fertile soil without constant tilling or endless inputs. So, how long does it take for urine-soaked cardboard to become garden gold? Well, typically it takes about 8 to 12 weeks, but sometimes it can be even faster if you've got the right conditions. It's honestly a simple, low-cost technique that works whether you're composting, mulching, or building new beds totally from scratch. And once you see the transformation for yourself, you'll never look at an old cardboard box the same way again. If this article gave you some fresh ideas for your garden, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles on YouTube for more practical, down-to-earth gardening tips. And hey, if you've tried this method yourself, share your experience in the comments. I'd really love to hear how it worked in your garden. Let's turn waste into abundance, one cardboard box at a time. Oh, and don't forget to share this with a fellow gardener who loves clever, budget-friendly hacks.